Yes, well, probably not much to learn this week, other than the fact that I actually did finish painting the foot leaders for my Infamy project.
That looks like a lot of leaders.
Yeah, it's probably more than an 8. Well, 'cause you also got standard bearers and musicians in there, so.
Oh right, okay.
So
Okay.
So that's.
And that's a very heavily crewed ballista at the back as well. There's
Yeah.
there's, what, 5 guys on that one, if I can see it somewhere.
There are.
That's reassuring actually, because there's always a temptation with ballistas just to stick 2 crew on it, because that's kind of what comes in the packet. But it's a big old base, isn't it, with not much on it, and there's quite a lot of dudes doing stuff there.
Yeah, I went with 5 because that's the crew number that you use for Infamy.
Okay.
And I'll be sort of need to make up some casualty morale tracking, shock tracking marker bases to use at some point. Possibly.
Isn't it like building work? There's basically 2 people doing something and another 3 stood around telling them how to do it.
Yeah, it does look like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
The bloke at the front looks like he's.
You need one Roman guy holding a little sign saying "Stop and go."
Yeah.
Fire, no fire.
Yeah, should have thought of that when I did the engineers base originally.
Yeah, I've actually got on my painting list to do is a Greek temple. I was thinking of doing a sort of consider a contractor's logo somewhere on it.
Mm. Yeah, Romans ended up with a few more leader figures than.
Sorry, there was just a moment there, and this will make no sense on the podcast at all. But you've got a picture of 2 Roman leaders next to each other, and they've kind of got one hand on their hip and one hand waving, and and you've got a front and back view, and you were sort of swapping between the 2, and it did kind of look like a little bit of YMCA thing going on there. It's yeah, I might have to try and clip this video out. And
it is a rather camp pose. It is a rather camp pose.
It is a rather camp pose. Is that one of the Donnington ones with?
Yeah, those are Donnington. They're in the artillery and equipment.
Yeah, did the Romans have teapots? Or am I going somewhere?
I really don't know. But...
I have no idea what that really means. I've probably said something deeply inappropriate there, haven't I? Right. Okay. No, they're looking grand, aren't they? That's super.
Yeah, but Roman leaders, for the officer ones, ended up with more figures because I can represent either auxiliary officers or legion officers.
And are those those are single 15mm figures? Are they based on? Are those MDF rounds, or have you just
20mm MDF rounds? Yeah.
Okay, so you didn't even go with pennies or 2p pieces, because there's always that.
No, because I had a load of 20mm bases.
Fine.
MDF.
Because aren't 20mm bases actually more than 2 pence each? That's the weird thing.
Yeah, you've got the cost. They do cost a little bit more, but because I'm using
consistency,
sort of magnets on magnetic sheet on the base underneath the base of figures, and then flexometal in the boxes.
A very good recovery there. A very good recovery, Tamsin, to me accidentally pointing out to you that you've spent more than it would be to actually just use money.